My name is Philip Dillon John. I am from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And I'm doing a documentary about me.
Okay, microphone's on. You got it? And this is the first apartment I ever... Okay, I'm coming. What's going on? Is this a kidnapping? Because I'm the most boring guy in Toronto. You can ask anybody.
Hey, you're late. What are you trying to do, 9/11 our entire day? So you do anything interesting?
I decided to make this documentary. I am the main subject. It's a subject I know quite well. It's going great. I'm paying for it with my severance package. My life is interesting. I think it was inevitable that my wife would leave me and that I'd lose my job. Not on the same day my father died, though. I never met any of my father's relatives until his cousin Sidney showed up at the funeral. I asked my mom to have him over for dinner.
I am sorry about your loss. Your father was a good man.
You know, he never really mentioned you. Do you know why that is?
We lost touch after our time overseas.
In France.
France, Belgium, Holland.
What about before the war? Was his life interesting?
It was difficult.
Difficult.
Yes, his family life wasn't exactly positive. He didn't get along with his mother. At school, they goaded him a lot. We all were.
Goaded?
Oh, sure. Anti-Semitism was at its peak here just before the war.
Anti-Semitism.
Anti-Semitism.
My father was Jewish?
Of course he was Jewish.
Really sorry about your father. And I heard about your marriage. And your job. I wrote you a poem.
Did you know my father was Jewish?
I wouldn't have known.
Did you know he was Jewish?
Yes.
No, wait, Mom. Remember when I asked the question, you've got to repeat the question and the answer.
Oh.
Yeah, hang on. Did you know he was Jewish?
Yes, I knew he was Jewish.
Then why didn't you tell me?
It never came up.
You didn't think it was important?
Well, he didn't think it was important.
Being Jewish is important, isn't it?
He liked to make dill pickles.
It was deceptive and cruel. I can't begin to think of the new forms of racism I am now eligible for. He did make good dill pickles. I thought I was a guy, just a Canadian guy, not part of a group. My God, Mom, I'm not the person I thought I was.
Well, that's very dramatic.
Do I look Jewish? I was beginning to sympathize with the plight of the Palestinian people. Can I still do that now? I just don't understand. I was always so good at sports.
It's not going to change your life. Really, Philip.
Does this new information make me somebody different? I'm not exactly sure this is what I need right now. But I can't stop thinking about it. Even when I try to ignore it, it won't go away.
We need a hit. That's how you win games. Oh, I forgot. That's not part of your plan this season. This is just a practice season.
Why do you think he never told me?
I think I paid too much.
He was ashamed?
Maybe too little. It shouldn't matter.
Maybe he was scared or something.
It's a little embarrassing, actually.
Being Jewish?
Hitting under 200. Thank you, God! Oh, that's going out. Oh, it's gone. Oh, it gets us back in the game. Thank God.
Thank God.
Thank God.
You really think he was responsible? Because I think he'd be neutral. I mean, why would you think he'd like the Cardinals more than the Cubs? And let's say he was a Cardinals fan. Let's say he was responsible for hitting that home run. Then why wouldn't he let the Cardinals hit a home run every time they come to bat? Throughout history.
So, now that you're Jewish, you're all sensitive about God.
Technically, I'm not Jewish.
It's matriarchal. Your mother has to be Jewish for you to be Jewish.
See, because I don't feel Jewish.
If you're Jewish enough, they would have sent you to the gas chamber.
See, I'm beginning to wonder if I even care about my father being Jewish. Is it just an excuse to spice up my life a bit? Does it? Am I more interesting now? Because really, I'm not actually Jewish. I mean, I can't claim to be something that I'm technically not. This is so typical of my life, that whenever some important revelation comes along, it's a half measure. You know, like my father was Jewish, my mother wasn't. So I'm a halfie. So now when I tell the story, I can't just say, hey, found out I'm Jewish. No, I have to say, well, I found out my father's Jewish, which doesn't exactly make me Jewish according to the Orthodox tradition, but according to Reform beliefs, I'm Jewish. So then, of course, I have to bring up Hitler. Because Hitler would have considered me Jewish enough to send me to the gas chamber. No one's arguing with 6 million Jews. So, in the tradition of the twisted comedy that is my life, I have to turn to Hitler for my acceptance as a Jew.
There's a discrepancy in your father's war records. He left London, England on December 25th, 1946. That's Christmas, by the way. He arrived in Ottawa in June of 1947. And he was immediately discharged from the Army, but there's no record of where he was during the previous 6 months. And that's highly unusual. The Army, they love their paperwork. It's hard to have a bowel movement without it being documented. Do you know where your father was during those 6 months?
This really isn't about my late fees at the video store, is it?